What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Friday edition of Bucnblake Sports live on BucksReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony, and this is my Friday edition. What's going on, everybody? You know how we do it. My preliminaries got to get through everything before we get to your phone calls. And I'm always excited to hear from you guys, some of you regulars, some of you new folks. Always excited to hear from you. As always, we're going to get to the all the other great shows here on BucksReport.com. Beware of the Bay, the New Guys on the Block, Cannon Fire Podcast, Buck Ball Podcast, Real Bucks Talk, Red Flag Podcast, Buck What You Heard, Fantasy and Flavors, The Sports Web with Peter Blake, Thursday Night Live with Mr. Charles the Man Richardson, and all those great other shows. And make sure you check out all articles by Best of the Bay, Ray Kennedy, Philip Swagler, Allison Collier, and all the other great guys here at Bucks Report. Omar Reggie, Joshua, the Juice. Also, I always want to give a shout out to the Buckaholics group all across the nation. You know, Georgia, Arizona, Indiana, Nevada, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Hawaii, California, Texas, Utah, and all over Canada, Ontario, UK, wherever. You guys are everywhere doing your thing, representing the team, and having a great time, just like I did down in Jacksonville with the Buccaneer Jacksonville fans. So, give a shout out to a couple guys here in the group already. Mesa Dore, Will Man, as always. Ray Kennedy, Keith, Rasul, Deshaun, as always. Ali, what's going on, Ali? I ain't seen you at the gym. You've been skipping the gym. So, without further ado, we'll hear from Bruce Arians. You'll hear from Byron Leftwich. You'll hear from Todd Bowles. You'll get the Madden predictions, and you'll get the little tape of Indiana's offense. And and then we'll get to the phone calls, and we'll talk about everything as a collective group. So let me go into Byron Leftwich now. Let's do this.
Coordinate your hats this week? You had that hat yesterday.
No. We good friends, but we ain't that good. We don't match clothes.
All right, you guys have gone up against some tough defenses in the last couple of weeks. What have you seen on film from the Colts, and what kind of challenges they present that are unique?
They're as sound as they come. You know, they're a team. They sound. They play good defense, and they play hard. Mostly that's the recipe for a good defense. Anytime you get guys, you can tell they compete. You can tell they're well coached. They're never really out of position. And those guys play hard. They play with a lot of energy. You can see by the tape that they play for each other. And it'll be a tough task for us this weekend.
What was happening well for you to get your, some more receivers? Like, Perriman became available. Jay Howard made some plays. I mean, I expect they're available every week, but what was it that enabled Jameis to actually see them and get the ball?
Well, the ball just got there, and Mike and Chris didn't have one of those monstrous days. It's tough when throughout the year, I think it's been 5, 6 times this year, we had a guy almost go for 200. So it's hard for the ball to really spread itself around. But you saw where they were trying to do certain things to take, and it's happening organically. That's how it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen organically. We don't want to have to force feed anybody the ball. We trust in our guys. We trust in them from the beginning. We'll trust in them now that when they're in position to make plays, they'll make those plays. And as you see, those guys stepped up and made some plays. But that's what we expect from them all the time, just because that's what they do on a daily basis.
Last couple of weeks, we've seen somewhat of a turnaround from the defense. And when they're going out and making plays, taking the ball away and giving it back to you guys with shorter fields, how much does that, just encourage you to be able to know that you guys can execute? Because they're doing their job as well.
Well, we encourage when it's no matter what the week is. We as an offense, we trust in those guys. Me personally, I trust in Todd Bowles. Trust me, and so we never view it of anything such like that. We view it as one team. We view it as we're always in this thing together. We got to play well together for us to win football games. We know that. We never separate sides of the ball like that, or if you begin to think like that. We trust in the building. We trust in the room. We trust in the locker room. And that's the way we go about our business.
I think you guys had 17 snaps with a sixth lineman with a jumbo tight end, if you will. Is it something you guys have gravitated towards as the season's moved on?
Just game plan stuff. Just game plan stuff. Stuff we see, stuff we think that fit us better. That's that'll work in our favor. So just game plan stuff.
Does it? I mean, you had a lot of rushing attempts. You didn't rush for a big average, but is it just the ability to try to stay balanced, even if you're not getting 5 yards of carry? Help the offense?
I think our runners, like I always tell you, I love our runners, and I think that week it just didn't probably get a lot of yards in the run game. That game right there could have easily went the other way. We were close on the latter few that could have changed the whole number standpoint from a rushing yard. So I believe in running the ball. I believe in running the ball. I think it's essential to win games in this league, to have the ability to run the ball, and we got some rushing attempts. We would like to have more from a yardage standpoint, but we'll just keep giving Peyton and Rojo opportunities, and we believe in those guys also. They'll begin to make the plays that's needed from a yardage standpoint. But they did what they needed to do, converting some third downs, putting us in position to have the type of game that we had.
Bruce has mentioned 30 as like a benchmark for carries. Obviously, you don't run just to run, but it seems like that's a good number to hit in terms of getting the run pass split you want to have.
I don't think at it as a number. I just go through the game. I never really look at I never could really tell you how many attempts we have to after a game. I'm never looking for a certain amount of attempts. I'm just running the ball, calling the game, trying to call the best plays for us to win football games. That's how I kind of see it. Sometimes you can win games with 20 attempts. Sometimes you can win the games with 37 attempts. Whatever it takes for us to win the football game that week, we'll try to do.
Hey, Coach, Alex Kapp is banged up right now, but he's going through his first year as far as the start is concerned here in the league. How would you rate how he's performed this first year?
I mean, I think he's done a great job. Coming in, filling in. He's had some very good football players on the opposite side of him. In this league, when you're a guard in this league, the three techniques in this league are really, really good. So he's been in front of a lot of really good football players, and he held his own. And that's what we like about Cap. Cap works his tail off. He's going to fight, and that's all you can really ask at that position. Just go up there. There's big guys fighting with each other, and he's willing to fight, play in and play out, and that's all what you can really ask of the guys up front.
Have you gotten from your tackles in pass protection what you need this year?
I think so. I think we've been I wouldn't say great. I think we've been really good in pass protection. It's a lot that goes into pass protection, though. But I think the bigs up front have really been really good from a pass protection standpoint. Have we had leakage certain games? Yes, right. That's just normal. But I really feel it. I really feel good about where we at up front from an offensive line standpoint.
What can you say about like Ronald Jones had one look that he didn't make or didn't pick up, and Bruce was quick to say, if you can't pass protect, you're not going to play. How far has he come in that area, do you think?
Yeah, you forget Rojo's a young football player. I mean, it's 8-year running backs you cut the tape on may miss the same thing, and that's the tough thing about playing the position of running back, right? Especially when you're as young as Rojo, right? You're going to have moments like that, but he got to understand where we're at. You can't have those. You just can't have them, even when they happen. You can't have them, and he had to understand the importance of it. The importance of it. If you can't get that job done, just like BA said, you're probably going to be sitting over there with him. He got to understand the importance of that. It's the first time this really happened to him. I'm quite sure he's learned a lot from that.
Coach, we talked a lot about Shaq Barrett for good reason. The things he's accomplished. He's too shy of a franchise record. You start thinking about guys like Leroy Selman, Simeon Rice, and Warren Sapp. What does it mean to watch a guy have an historic type season for you?
No, I'm happy for Shaq. I don't compare him to those guys. I know they had legendary careers and they're all great players, but the way he came in and worked and put himself in that position, is a credit to him coming in after the offseason and buying in and doing all the right things. So it's really a credit to Shaq himself.
Coach, when you guys were evaluating him for free agency, was that a guy that really stood out to you? And did you have input? I'm sure you had some input with Jason in that front office as far as going after him. And could you have even expected anything close to the numbers that he's putting up?
I mean, we knew he was a solid player. I didn't know how much of a pass rusher he was. I know he could do a lot of things for us, and he was versatile in that way. And when we got him in with his array of pass rush moves and understanding of the game, he probably surprised us a little bit, having heavy hands and being able to play the run as well from that aspect. And, along with the other guys in the D-line has helped out. He's got on a roll, and when he smells blood in the water, he's hungry. So he's been doing a great job.
Was this something you could see before the pads came on, or was it really, in the preseason when the pads came on and you're in game situations that you could really see him turn it on?
It was definitely pads on. It was a progression as he went ahead going forward, and you saw more and more, and the more comfortable he got, the more he started to show.
He's a free agent after this year. What are the things you've seen this year that suggest he'll be able to replicate the success next year and beyond?
I mean, I don't know. I can't look ahead, but, I can look forward to the next couple games, and I think he's on a roll right now. He's found a groove and where he's playing well, and I'm very happy with that.
To that effect, you've also got a guy in Jason Pierre-Paul who's done a lot of those things already in his career, but he came back from a broken neck this year. And when looking back on it, does it still seem kind of just improbable that he's even out here playing?
I mean, I can't even imagine what he's been through, but, just seeing him out there and him rounded into form right now and playing harder and grasping the scheme in the short time he's grasped it and playing the way he's playing, I'm happy to be around him.
He said that he's an old school player. When he loses, he gets certifiably pissed. He says that some of these young guys nowadays don't necessarily get that way. They don't have that. What's it like having a guy around that kind of has a little bit of that old school mentality but can still hang with some of the young cats?
Me and him have a lot in common, so in that regard. But you got to have a little old school and a little new school right now. Work ethic is old school. His demeanor is old school, the way he approaches the game. His swag is probably new school, as he would say, but everything else is old school.
Coach, spoke to Devin White yesterday and asked him about how fresh he was, how he's feeling as he enters the latter part of his first season in the league. As far as the rookie wall is concerned, how much is that a concern to you when you have a young team? Do you make that a concern when you work through the guys?
No, you don't even talk about it. You don't understand it's a long season, and Coach Arians does a great job of making sure they take care of their bodies and giving them rest time when they need rest time and picking it up when we need to get it picked up. So those guys are young, between 20 and 23 years old. They can run all day.
Is this the Devin White, the kind of splash plays that we're seeing now? He's Rookie of the Month that you guys knew as a staff he could make it once he got past the injuries and came back up?
Yeah, he's the exact guy we thought we drafted. Once the injuries got past and he got caught back up with the system and he's playing faster, he's exactly what we saw in college, and we're happy to have him.
Coach, obviously the secondary's played much better the last couple of weeks, and no coincidence you guys have won those games pretty handily. Can you put your finger on one thing, say go back 6 weeks to last week, for instance, why things are better? Is it the right combination of guys, or is it just them getting repetition in game situations and learning?
Repetition and communication, just seeing things and correcting them, getting a feel for each other as well as getting a feel for the coaches and us getting a feel for them. I think it's all inclusive. I think it's a credit to those guys, the way they put in the work with their position coaches and come out to practice every day, and it's translating over to the game.
You've played a lot of run-heavy teams, and you've played the run extremely well all year. Jacksonville was one of those teams, obviously, but Indianapolis seems just as committed as anybody to running the football. What do they do well? What makes them successful at it?
No, they don't just run the ball. I think they're well balanced. I think they keep you off balance. I think they do a great job with scheme runs and misdirection things. And when you think they're going to run, they pass. They have a good play action game, a great play action game. The tight ends and receivers do a good job. Even though they have some receivers down, they had guys step up and come in and keep plugging along. If you look at it, they're in every game. They lost some close games, but it's a very good football team.
We keep hearing about that offensive line of theirs, and rightfully so. What jumps out at you when you look at that group? I mean, is it all Quentin Nelson, or?
No, all of them can play. All of them can play. I mean, Nelson spearheads it, but they got a lot of guys that can handle themselves. Costanzo's been playing for a long time. Very good in the run game. They're very good at the center as well as the right guard and right tackle. So it's going to be a challenge for us.
How does your group match up against those guys, especially with them seeming to really start clicking, as of late?
I mean, we're going to put our heads down and work. You know, we don't go into every game expecting and preparing to play well, but those guys are a load.
Because you got 3 of the next 4 at home. You guys are on a winning streak now, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. How much do you guys feed off of that? How much are you looking forward to finishing the season with 3 of these 4 games with your home crowd behind you?
I think the guys are feeding off each other, and it's great for young guys to feed off each other, and they're playing well right now. They just got to continue to get better and better. You know, if you can get the crowd into it, that even makes it more better for the guys out there playing.
You guys asked a lot of so many young players on the defense earlier in the season, and with that comes taking those rookie lumps and having some challenges. The flip side of that is that now you're later in the season, you're starting to see that unit come together. How much hope does that give you, not just for the rest of the season, but beyond for those young guys who took those reps early?
Well, we were confident in them when we drafted them. It's just a matter of time for those guys to start to gel and get together. But every week's a different week. We just got to continue to do the things that got us to where we're playing half decent right now. We got a long way to go. As long as they keep getting better each week, I think they'll be fine.
As always, Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich. They did good this week. They did about 6 minutes apiece. They didn't stay overly aggressive on the mic. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Bucnblake Sports Live on BucksReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony. This is my Friday edition to pregame to the Colts. You just heard from Byron Leftwich. You just heard from Todd Bowles from Buccaneers.com. You will get my Madden prediction and we'll get to the game tape and then Madden prediction, and we'll break all that down and talk about that before we take the phone calls here shortly. What's going on, Christopher Cole? Rojo, I expect him to bounce back this week. It takes lumps. You learn the importance. That's why they benched him as a learning curve. You just need stuff like that, and Barber was playing well that game anyway. I mean, it is what it is. One guy's not going to start all game anyway, especially in a football game. It's all about rotations and stuff like that, and you try to prevent people from getting hurt and things like that. That's why you have rotations and stuff. So everybody just thinks it's just so keen. You just play one guy the entire game. You can't do that, especially if his strengths aren't certain things, and that's why you had a missed block led to a sack and a fumble on your behalf. So unfortunate that happens. He's not the only person that it happens to, but he just clean it up. I expect him to bounce back this week and have a good game against the Indianapolis Colts. I think on defense, if Jamel Dean goes out, it's a huge drop-off at the corner position with Ryan Smith come in. Pretty much Gardner Minshew picked on him the entire time once he came out, and I wasn't too confident once Dean came out, so I'm looking forward to the young stud and him and SMB going to play well, Sean Murphy-Bunting, along with Edwards. Todd seemed to be laid to me. He always chills, man. What's going on, Lamar? He's always Todd's just a monotone. He just gets to the point. It's just no extra. I sent you guys the poll. Make sure you guys check that out. Let me get to the game tape and then Madden predictions. Then we'll get to the phone lines and let you guys call in. Here we go. So here we are. They're going to force the ball. Well, they're going to try their hardest to force the ball to 84. Jacoby Brissett audibles at the line. They're going to run the ball and they're going to force the ball to 84. That's their game plan here. They're going to keep the offense pretty simple and not have Jacoby sit back too long. Look at Quentin Nelson get off that ball and reach him. That's Lord of mercy. The man's get off is ridiculous. 56 is going to be a matchup to watch Vita Vea and him go at it. Just the way he gets off. So what we got here, it looks like a possible power run or a play action. Oh, I got it in slow motion here. You guys gonna have to hang in here with me. They're going to run power. He's going to try to find a lane. If not, he's going to get outside. 33 is a big back. Got to wrap him up. Wait for the cavalry to get there. What we got here? I don't expect the pass here. That's what it looks like to me. They go empty set. You run that curl route right in the gap Doyle, I believe that's Doyle. He's gonna sit down in the gap, and Brissett's gonna throw it right in between the linebacker and the DB. Devin White's got to keep his head on the swivel here because they're gonna try to get him. They're gonna try to get him too. If your eyes are peeking in the backfield. Oh, that's a good move by 84. Out, and the rest of the post and the drag. Good ball. Like I said, it's going to be simple route combinations. He's going to take whatever coverage they give him or whatever leverage they're running, and they're just going to run those routes to that. Very simple offense. And he's going to extend plays. Look, he's looking for 84. All big downs, he's going to be looking for 84. I believe he did not get his feet in on that play. It looks like a pass. Yep, play action. 81 comes back to block, and there's 84. Peeking in the backfield, it's going to get you beat. And it's going to be the Colts offense is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a really, really run heavy offense. They're going to run those easy outlet passes, the curls, outs, posts, slants, and things. Are going to get the ball out of his hand. If not, Brissett's going to buy time with his legs. His offensive line is going to open up holes for him, and they're going to play very well. The Colts, unfortunately for us, they have one of my favorite players on defense is Justin Houston, Jabal Sneed, and the young linebacker. His name slips my mind at this moment, but they got some pretty good Marcus Hooker at safety back there from Ohio State that they picked up a couple years back. They replaced Bob Sanders. Hopefully they get the playing production that they had out of Bob Sanders, and they're looking forward to that. I'm seeing this good game here, especially in the trenches, because I'm all about the trenches, and that's where the games are won and lost, inside the trenches. Man, just look at the Colts, man. They made a whole line overhaul, and you made the playoffs last year. Made a great run, making great strides this year. Switch quarterbacks and still have success. It's just interesting to watch that as a team flourishes when with the building in front of the house instead of the back of the house first, like Tampa Bay Buccaneers did. All right. So we're going to move into that, and let's get into the Madden predictions before we take the phone lines.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Here it is. Jameis Winston drops back. Looking for his tight end, O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard catches the post route up the sideline. Can he beat it? It's a foot race. It's a foot race. Beats Hooker, the safety, and gets to the sideline. Touchdown. Bucks go up early. Ready to get O.J. Howard in space. All right. Chill out with the end zone celebration there, O.J. Howard. Colts fighting back as I thought they would. Run a bunch of crossing routes. Oh, look who it is. T.Y. Hilton's in the middle of the field. Not sure if he's going to play this Sunday or not, but I surely hope not. They keep fighting. Run a play action. What do we got here? It said Chris Godwin over the middle doing Chris Godwin things. Touchdown, Bucks. Doing the Antonio Brown end zone celebration here. You guys look like you've worked on that a little bit. All right, Bucks got the ball back. Throw a nice slant route to Brashard Perriman. Puts on the Jets, beats the defense, and scores. Where has that been all season? That would be nice to see that. Rashard get off like that. Beat him in man coverage and split the defense and run up the middle. Kind of reminded me of Larry Fitzgerald in the Super Bowl. Caught the slant route and went upfield on him. Bucks got the ball back again. Winston back. Oh, runs a screen route to Ogunbowale. Ogunbowale beats the linebacker, Darius Leonard. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. It's a fumble. Ogunbowale gives up the ball. Way to make that tackle, Ali Marpet. Colts trying to go down to score on the drive. Looks like they're running windows, outs, and slants. Finds receiver wide open for a touchdown. T.Y. Hilton. Again, I hope he's not playing. There's the score. 24-17. Bucks win. And there you have it. Phone lines are now up. You can call in 727-475-1882. If you're just tuning in, this is Bucnblake Sports live on BucksReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony. This is my Friday edition to the Colts game. Friday pregame to the Colts game. I predicted 30-21. We'll see. I don't know if T.Y. Hilton's not playing. I haven't got an injury update yet to my phone. If somebody's got who's active and who's not. But yeah. So let me see. I'm checking out the comments here. Omar. I said Will Man. I said I'm interested. Like I said, my biggest thing I'm excited to in the game is watching the trenches. Watching Vita Vea go up against Quentin Nelson. And watching the defensive front fight against a formidable offensive front and see where we kind of scale at. All right, there we go. Got a phone call coming in now. Hey, you calling Bucnblake Sports? Who is this?
Oh, this is Frankie from Wisconsin.
Frankie.
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Well, I'll be joining you with Bucks Report as I've been talking to you, so let's let everybody know here. The show's going to be coming on. I'm going to be starting mine after the Super Bowl to get everybody kind of boost myself up a little bit here and get ready.
Oh,
I don't know why the video was not playing on my phone.
That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, like I was sitting there, I'm like, why can't I get the video feed going? Maybe whatever videos you were showing, I don't know if you can email me those video files that you were, for the press conferences that you were showing. You can send me an email maybe later.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be great, because I honestly don't know what you guys were talking about, because unfortunately I couldn't really see, but I know the man, the myth, the legend wanted me to get some, get my feet re-wet talking live and everything, and I'm supposed to be with Peter tonight. About 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock y'all time.
Okay.
Being in Wisconsin, I'm an hour behind you guys. So, I did radio for a while. That's what I went to college for. But now I got I have a podcast, but it's all pre-recorded.
Right.
And I want to do something Buccaneer related because, dude, I'm so passionate about Buccaneer football. I'm passionate about sports in general.
Yep.
And I'm scattered all over the place. And, you and I have been talking about it. And one of the main things that I'm going to do with my show is we're going to be creating a dream team / all-star team of Buccaneers.
Speaking of,
that's going to be dealing with the only catch is we're going off stats that you did while wearing a Buccaneers jersey. So our quarterback could be Steve Young because he was a Buccaneer, but his stats weren't great as a Bucket.
No, they weren't. It was pretty. It was pretty bad. It's pretty awful actually. And speaking of great fandom, we should get a call here from Big Nasty here pretty soon. You talking about super fan and Bucks legendary fan? Might get a call from him. I don't know if you saw that video. Derek Brooks went to his house and he's supposed to be the into the Ford Hall of Fame. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did hear about it. I did not get to see that video. So unfortunately, I heard about that, and that would be awesome. Unfortunately, I've been to Bucks games a lot, and I've been to the old Sombrero more than Ray J.
Right.
So, because my grandparents lived down there, and that was my first experience.
Right.
Which I'm going to get into that more when I do my show. But little spoiler alert, I was almost a Lions fan.
Uh-oh.
But my grandparents corrected my past.
Definitely glad that didn't happen.
Well, I was really thinking of Barry Sanders.
Nothing wrong with that.
They took me to a Lions-Bucks game, and I just got immersed into the awesomeness of being a Bucks fan from them. So, yeah. But I'm really excited. I honestly think we could win out all of our games this year. I think there's a chance. Because if you look at it, when we play the Texans, which I think that's our toughest game, I honestly think we can beat the Colts this weekend.
Of course.
And I don't think we'll have a problem with the Lions. I think our toughest game is the Texans. But if you look at it, the Texans' next two games, they could win their next two games. No problem. And
hold on one second, Frank.
Hold
on one second, Frank. Yep. Might got Big Nasty calling in now. Call back soon right after this one, Frank. We'll get back into it.
All right.
Thanks for calling Bucnblake Sports. Blake Anthony. Who's this and where you from?
Hey, this is Big Nasty. You gotta love it, the Tampa Bay area, Booba.
Oh man, look who it is. What are you doing?
Hey man, just believe it or not, getting ready to put the war paint on. It ain't even game day, but you know what it's about. It's about doing charity work. So we're going to do what we do every year with the Angelus up there in Pasco County, where we donate a day for Big Nasty game day experience. So they're going to bid on me. So I'll be like a livestock auction item tonight.
Oh, so you feel like a prize horse? They get to bid on you.
or yet, I bet he had a prize rhino.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. No, anytime.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. It's good.
I gotta tell you, it was a pleasure seeing you in Jacksonville, man.
Oh yeah, I know. I told you it was kind of cool. I heard you yelling my name. I was like, oh man, look at that. It's a legend right there.
I don't know about legend. You know how I feel, man. We all bleed pewter and red to the day we're dead, and we're all equal side by side.
Definitely that. And it's awesome that you're doing all the community work out there. You know, much like I look at Mike Clayton all the time, all the stuff he does, and Frank Murphy and those guys, Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott, and all those guys still do community work. And it just, and that's the thing, it always falls by the wayside because a lot of people don't want to pay attention to it because I guess there's no real drama attached to it. But these guys just do great work when they really don't have to. They can stay retired and just live their life, but they choose to try to make the community better for everybody every day.
It's so funny you say that. I was just with Mikey probably an hour and a half ago, and we were doing the golf tournament, and he was going around taking photos with everybody. And, you said it right then and there. They don't have to do this, but they don't do it for the recognition, man, and that's what it's about. They do it because it's from the heart, and let's face it, it makes a huge difference in our community.
Definitely. It definitely does. You don't know the impact of putting a smile on somebody's face or doing a random act of kindness can do for somebody in the future. I say this 100 times. Warwick Dunn was, I'm sure you're familiar with it, bought all those homes for single parents, and one of those homes were Deshaun Watson. And lo and behold, Deshaun Watson went on to college, became a first-round draft pick, Yeah, first round draft pick, and then and when the hurricane happened, he returned and bought and paid for somebody's home that was damaged in the hurricane out there in Houston.
It just goes to show you, look at where he came from.
Mm-hmm.
His mom passing away in the line of duty,
Mm-hmm.
right? Taking care of his siblings all through college, and then also goes on and says, you know what, I'm going to do something in memory of my mother. And I'll tell you right now, work done. I think I just read something that he's up for something Sports Illustrated, which, there's a perfect example that he's been there forever. And it's not just Tampa, it's in Atlanta as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what he's doing for giving homes to mothers that need it, and to survive. And now I remember his first one, it was like, okay, here's the house. Now it's fully furnished, it's stocked up, food, the whole bit. So it's really impressive, how much work has done with his foundation and as well as giving back, man. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yep, and I always make it my point to always point out stuff that they do all the time. As I always say, everybody likes the limelight negativity. Not here, not with me. I'm gonna promote stuff like what you got going on and all these other active and former players do out here in the community every day that goes overshadowed. So as long as I'm around, people are gonna hear about it. So let's talk about the game. Yep, let's talk about the game a little bit. So what do you got? What's your prediction? Do you predict what you got? What you got prediction as far as the score?
Well, what's funny, man? When this all started at the beginning of the season, I predicted 8-8,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that would be a great season, not a good season, a great season.
Mm-hmm.
But let's face it. I mean, you got a first-year coach coming in, right? Even though he's got the experience, they still got to learn special teams. They got to still learn offense. They got to learn a whole new defense. And the one thing I like about this cat, man, is he got two coaching staffs going.
Mm-hmm.
And we always talk about the Glazers not pony up. I mean, when you're paying two coaching staffs, that's not a small penny. So, I got to give it to the Glazers as well. But I think, it's funny, everybody's talking about the defensive backs now and how our defense has improved, and they all laughed at him when he says the defensive backs were fixed.
Yep.
Including me. I was kind of like, we ain't fixed. We get blown out. And I was going, holy moly. But, that's what good coaches are all about, is they know how to develop players and they know what youth is. And it made me think a little bit because, I'm not no guy that's been around 5 years. I'm an old guy. So I got to witness, the Rodney Barber, the Warren Sapp, the Derek Brooks, the John Lynch as babies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And what I mean is babies coming in, and I'm telling you right now, John Lynch almost didn't make the team. Rodney Barber almost didn't make the team. And, obviously Warren and Derek were going to make it, but we were still getting whipped.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
it clicked.
They start to grow.
It clicked.
They start to get older. They start to mature. I was talking to, I don't know if you remember, Ron Manecki.
Mm-hmm.
He played defensive line for us, and good friend of mine. We were just talking last night, and he goes, let me tell you something. As a rookie, you don't know nothing. You're just trying to survive. You just want to make sure that you make the team.
Right.
You're not thinking about defensive schemes. You ain't thinking about nothing. You're just trying to make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I go, well, what do you think? 2 to 3 years? He goes, let me tell you something. Sometimes it's 5 to 6.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that was kind of like, well, not everybody's, the chemist. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I don't mean that they're stupid, because there's not a football player on that team that's stupid, because them playbooks are not small. So what I mean by is not everybody's as quickly to get it down as some are. I was one of those. I could tell you, I'm the one that had to read things 3 times just to get it down, so just because of comprehension. But, no, I'm ecstatic. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't happy and, they want the Super Bowl every single year. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with wanting that.
Nope.
But realistically, when you look at the teams in our history, and history does repeat itself, we have had 4 seasons, but then we build, and when we build through the draft, it's a proven fact. Look what happened with our Super Bowl 37.
Yep.
So, and we didn't just get there; we won it.
Sure
You
did.
could be one of these Carolina teams, that get there, and then don't win it. And I don't know about you, but would you rather be a Carolina fan right now or a Buccaneer fan right now?
Always.
Because I'll tell you right now, they're in turmoil. Or how about this? How about a Dallas Cowboy fan?
Oh, God.
I don't know if you're watching that at all.
Oh, Lord.
In the days of the lack of talent, it's about being on board and going to get it for one goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, coaches got to go. And I couldn't be more happier in our coaching staff. I really couldn't.
Yep, because you can definitely see the progression coming, and it's a long time coming. They kept taking, and the part I love is the will to keep going, the will to keep getting, because the media kept pounding them. People kept pounding Arians, questioning him, pounding him, Todd Bowles. And you got to remember, those that watch the game, those that know what progression takes, and those that understand the game, it's not going to happen like that. Just flick a switch, and it's going to happen. You got to get the players that you need in there. You got to weed out the guys that are here just for collecting paychecks, or are here because you're paying less taxes here. You get those guys out of here, and you get these guys that want to be here and play for one another, play for the city, and want to win the ultimate goal in the Super Bowl. And when you make mistakes, you're excited to get back on that field and get better. I'll never forget Jamil Dean for that terrible game he had in Seattle, and had a bounce back game in Arizona to have the interception that helped us win the game. I think that's the stuff you got to have, people that have a short-term memory.
Well, it's not even that. Let's be realistic. He didn't know he was starting until the game time.
Oh, Seattle game, yep.
What kind of preparation did he have?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing where, and boy, everybody wanted to crucify the kid.
They did.
It was horrible. And you know it. You talk about negative and positive, but nobody wants to look at that glass. People always do that, either half empty or half full, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I always look at it the positive way and say, okay, I could tell you everything that was bad, but what good things do we do? A perfect example is, I'm going to tell you how bright our coaching staff is. Coach gets on the book, and then everybody starts saying, so how do you think about Jameis Winston returning next year? He ain't stupid. He knows they're going to ask that question every single game. He says, you know what? I'm going to pass on that until the end of the season. Guess what? They're not going to ask the question again.
And I'm glad you brought that.
That's genius.
Yep, I'm glad you brought that up, because that I thought the same exact thing. I said, why are you going to ask that question when we're on a 2-game win streak right now? Why is that why do I want to focus on that right now? What this team is rolling, it's clicking. I'm not throwing that out there and try to chip at somebody's confidence. Yeah, we don't want him next year, and we're trying to run the table these last couple of games. That was just a poor question to ask at that time, and Bruce Arians said it correct. We'll wait to the end.
Yeah, he goes, I'm going to pass on that question. I loved it. And the thing is, it does two things. Now the media back off on asking that question again, because he's already answered it, and he knows they're not going to have to answer until the end of the season, right? Which makes perfectly good sense. But here's another thing, man. Talk about half glass, half full, half empty, and positivity. I don't, it's the same thing with GMC that got out the door, and the way some of our fans can be just flat out ruthless, man. I mean, some mean fans. I don't know if they're really fans. Some are probably they are, or maybe they're just these social models that make people's life miserable. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I don't know. Yeah, the crazy thing about it is, we got J-Lu out there, and you talk about people giving back. Here he's got that Christmas jamboree that he's doing
every year.
Next Tuesday. Yeah. And I'm going to it, and I love it. He invited me to come do it. I'm doing it. You kidding? That kid, and what's funny, if you really sit back and just watch him, he's like a kid. He just loves giving back with the kids and has fun with them. Hey, look at me. It's about, hey, let's give back. Let's have some fun. Let's teach somebody something, Plus, here's the crazy thing. Everybody wants Jameis and that. I hate to say it. There's the people that don't like him are not going to like him whether he won a Super Bowl or not.
Yep.
They're always going to have something to complain about.
Yep.
But what I got to say is this. Okay. All right. We got a 1,000-yard wide receiver named Godwin. We got a 1,000-yard plus receiver named Evans. Who the hell's throwing the ball?
Ryan Griffin, right?
Yeah, he's the best choice. And I'm a Griff fan. I don't even think we need a big name backup, for a second. Because if you remember, he's been our backup all year long.
Yep.
So, so why do we want to go spend a lot of money for a backup? That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
He's been here. He knows everybody.
I tell you right now, and Griff can get us 2 games if Jameis gets hurt. I really believe that.
Me too.
But it's just crazy. Shoot, he was given a run 50 when Fitzy was here. It was so close before he got hurt. With the collarbone issue back then. But here's the killer. So you got that going, and instead of backing somebody, and you know what? Get there and be positive about it. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, there's nothing worse than starting a game and seeing Jameis throw. To be in a hole, right? Yeah, we don't want to be in a hole. So yeah, okay, it happens. It's football, and whether it's the wide receiver's fault, whether it's his fault, it still comes down to there's still 4 quarters to play football, and you don't leave until the dang seconds read 0-0, right?
Absolutely.
So, let's get out there and support them, and let's get out there, and I'll tell you, if they go 8-8, like I said, a great season. I don't know about you, but it would be pretty damn cool if they went 9-7. Now, I know a lot of people are going, "Oh my goodness, playoffs, this and that." I'm like, ease up.
We didn't deserve to be there, to be honest.
What's that?
We honestly didn't deserve to be there for the games we dropped so early in the year. But that would be man, I would be ecstatic if we could run the table these last games, just like Jason Pierre-Paul said. I did in New York. Why not us?
Well, if you think about it, man, when do you not become a rookie? About this time of the year, right?
Yep, it's over.
So all our rookies that were playing on defense, what did we have? We had like 9 rookies on defense playing, and making mistakes and learning from their mistakes and on. They also that wasn't buying it. They said, "Hey, enough's enough. We're moving on." And one thing I like is accountability, buddy. Oh my good, I haven't seen it so long. And I think Ronald Jones could be something special. I really do. But you're going to be held accountable, man. You got to make the blocks, And the thing is, and in this offense, with him standing back there, I mean, let me tell you something. Them guys are coming.
Yep.
I'll be honest. There's no way I'd be a quarterback in the NFL. There's just no way. I mean, can you imagine a JPP coming at you full bore?
Or imagine Vita Vea.
That's insane, man.
That's a big load coming at you pretty fast.
Yeah, and then he gets knocked down, or somebody hits him, he gets knocked out. It's like, oh, get up. It's like sometimes people lose all reality because they just want to win, and it's that competitive edge, and I get it. But I think I'm becoming a softie, man, because I've been around so long and get to meet these guys, and these guys are human beings and have families just like everybody else, and they want to succeed. They don't want failure. Believe me, So, I don't know about you, but I've had coaches in the past when they coached me where, just be chewing me out, spitting me out, just screaming at me when I made a mistake. And shoot, and literally, when I was coaching, I was the same damn way. But on the other hand, you got to be able to be positive and root them on, and definitely pat them on the back. And I tell you what, coaches got it going on. I'm really impressed. You could tell the years of experience that he's doing with the team. It's amazing.
It is, and I was the same way when I made a mistake. I got chewed out, and I think Coach would say that all the time to me. He said, I would chew Blake out. Blake wouldn't like nothing I would say, but he would sit there and listen to every word, and he would go out there and correct it. And I was that kind of guy that learned everybody's role. I've always been, even as a player and even as now, always been a student of the game. I try to study everybody's position because I could play both sides of the ball. I played pretty much a multitude of positions. And I thought about that here, too, in Tampa Bay, starting to get versatile players like Vita Vea that can play both sides of the ball, which is great. That'd be nice. We can get some more players like that and open up, different kind of play calls and different looks from week to week. And I think Arians and the team will do that. I believe in Byron Leftwich's progression, as I believe Arians is coaching him to head coach this team when he's done here. And I agree with what you're saying as well. You with the players, with fans wanting to win and they're tired of losing everything, they want something to cheer about. They pay all this money and they want something to cheer about. I totally understand that. But you have to look at, a multitude of things, too, what's going on. Is it just bad players, or sometimes it's just bad breaks? Sometimes the other team just made a good play. It's not that we were just that terrible. But, these guys are people too, and you think that they want to come out there and lose. Nah, not as long as Arians and the gang is around. You're not going to be here and accept losing. You come on the field to win, as Arians said. And that's why losing games on crazy penalties or missed calls or things like that, because you work all these months, all this time to play these 16 games. And to have you lose a game or snap or whatever, points off the board or wherever it is on something that could have been easily corrected if you looked at it correctly, it's frustrating as hell as a fan. I know it's frustrating as hell as a player.
Well, you're 100%. One thing I like about Coach, and I know I've been sounding like a huge cheerleader about it, but he goes, if I hear a thing about a draft, I think I'm going to throw up. I get sick and tired of hearing about the draft
Me too.
every year. And the thing is, the reason why I love it here is, no, he goes, we're going to win every one of them.
Yep.
We're not going to flop for
no, sir.
a spot, whether a 10 spot or a 5 spot or a 15 spot.
Doesn't guarantee nothing.
When it all comes, and what it comes down to is a crapshoot anyway. Nobody knows who's going to be the next, Joe Namath. It just doesn't work that way. And the thing is, perfect example, if that was the case, Mark Barron would have been a Hall of Famer, and Kuechly would be, a dud.
Yep.
We could have had Kuechly.
Yep.
So it's, look at Vernon Hargraves. I mean, what a shame, number one draft choice gone. And then everybody wants to jump on Jason Light. But all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, Jason Light ain't so bad now, because now all of a sudden our rookies are starting to play. Well, guys, you got to give these guys time, and I know you're frustrated. Listen to me, Buck Maniacs. I know you're frustrated. There's nothing more frustrated than losing all this time. But the problem is, if you think Rome was built in a day, it ain't going to happen. And the thing is, we are in the right direction. And I tell you what, you want to see this team even blossom even more? Show up. Show out. Don't let the opposing team be more than us. Because I tell you what, if you heard Coach say, we actually have, when we're on the road, I'll tell you right now, Buck Nation knows how to travel on the road.
Yep.
I'll give you that. Shoot, I'm like, wow. I mean, I was in Jacksonville. I thought it was a home game. And I was like, wow, why isn't it like this, at home? Meanwhile, we got the Saints doing that "who dat" chant. Makes you want to throw up.
Oh, I hate it.
But, and here's the negative. Here's what's going to come back on you. Hey, if you don't want that, you got to win the games. Hey, we get that. But I'll tell you right now, when they're close to the end zone, and you got "Who Dat Nation" screaming so loud that we have to do, eye signals from Ali Marpet, to make sure that nobody gets offsides. I mean, because it's so loud, that's embarrassing. But history proves itself, right? Repeats itself. Green Bay, I can bring it to you. Detroit, Chicago, the old Norris division that I was part of, and when the Bucks were in there. And guess what? They all traveled well. The Packers, jeez, it was 90% Packer fans, cheeseheads, than it was Buck fans back in the day. But, when winning starts to happen, boy, I'll tell you what, Tampa Bay knows how to come out. They know how to come out of the woodwork. And I'm not going to call it the bandwagoners. I think you're right. There's a lot of frustrated people that are paying a lot of money to go to these games. And let's face it stinks to lose. It's horrible. But, on the other hand, if you see improvement, which I've been seeing improvement, you got to back them, man. Especially the season ticket holders and the fans that are out there that are really real fans that show up every week. I get it. And you know what? You still show up. And you got every right to gripe. But when you start doing things like this happened the last game, when I was at home, I couldn't believe it. I wish they would have threw the guy. The guy comes running down, which, everybody gets that liquid alcohol in them.
You know it.
And starts screaming, "Y'all need to die! Y'all need to die!" Ooh. I mean, I'm like, first of all, you don't do that in a stadium these days. They think it's a terrorist attack. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but literally, this guy, I'm just looking at it, and the players are looking at him like, what the hell kind of fans do we have? And I'm like, get out of here. I'm getting the guy out of here. We're getting security. But, I mean, that's how crazy it's gotten. You get people making death threats and stupid things like that. It's a football game, for God's sakes, man. It's a football game,
Yep.
It's crazy.
You get it. It's your pastime to get away from the week's work and all that, but keep it At what face value? It's a football game. These are people here. It is entertainment, but relax.
Well, you ain't telling me I'm the one that's got to take an hour to put face paint on every single week. You kidding? Looking like a Kiss concert for me.
Oh, Lord.
But I tell you right now, like literally, it's great when they win, man. And you know that everybody always, man, how are you a Buck fan? Well, you know what? When you experience winning and you experience loyalty to a team, it's nothing like it, man. And I'm telling you right now, when all we got to do is get to a playoff game eventually, and you'll see them come back. I mean, there's no doubt we'll have sellouts again. But the thing is, you got to get there, and they got to build it. And I see them working on it. So I'm very pleased with the production. So let's just keep on going. And everybody in Buck Nation, I think I'm crazy, but there's a lot of young ones. A lot of people don't know who Doug Williams was, but we don't need another Doug Williams curse, guys. We need to sign Jay Lou. We need to sign him to a long-term deal. I don't care what you got to say because it'll stretch out that salary cap so we can sign everybody else.
Correct.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And let's get it done. Stop screwing around because you know what? You may just tick them off. Franchise somebody. They're either going to franchise Shaq or they're going to franchise Jay Lou. So you tell me. You know, the wise decision is to get him signed on a long-term deal, then do Shaq on the franchise for $16 million, and then start getting and pray JPP and Sue and Via's the only one that signed full term. We also need to get Carl, and hopefully Nelson will get off the shelf on that defensive line instead of being on the like they say, you can't make the tub in the club. So, or how's that go? You can't make the
club in the tub. Yep. Yeah, I agree. You got to keep the guys that you got here. You got to keep building. We can't let them all go, and then we're right back to square one trying to rebuild everybody. I agree wholeheartedly. I'm sure they're going to figure out a way. We're going to have plenty of cap space to work with. I'm interested to see what we're going to do this offseason. But first, let's finish these last games with a win and finish out 9-7. I want to see that. And then we could talk about the offseason and the draft because I'm with you. I'm not done with the season. I waited all year for football, and I'm grateful for every down, every game, and I want to watch all of it.
You got it, buddy. Hey, man. I got to take off. I got to go put on this war paint so I can make some money for a charity. So just want to say God bless, go Bucks, and Buck Nation. Let's get out there and fill them seats up, and let's get loud and proud like we know we can.
Absolutely. I'll see you Sunday, buddy. I'll be there.
Can't wait to see you, bud. Take
All right,
care.
You too. There you have it. Elongated, but big nasty. Phone lines are still up. 727-475-1882. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Bucnblake Sports Live on BucksReport.com. And it's still up. If not, I said we can get out of here unless you guys got a few more. Talk about a lot of great things with him. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's been around here longer than I have. Only been in this area, I believe, since 08, 09. I've been out here in this area. I did not grow up here. I moved down here from Philadelphia. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska. So I actually grew up a Niner fan because that's what aired on TV, and I just watched what was there. So I grew up in the Steve Young era. Then I found out once I became a Buccaneer fan, the Buccaneers had drafted Steve Young, and we had let that go. Had Doug Williams, had let him go. Both guys won Super Bowls. One went to the Hall of Fame. Seems how we have quarterbacks here, but we don't know ways to keep them. We find reasons why they're bad instead of reasons why they're good, or reasons how we can help them. If it was easy, I think we'd talk about it with Charles Richardson last night as well. If it was so easy and it's so simple to find quarterbacks, all 32 teams would have quarterbacks. Instead of you have less than half of the league. Well, now I can say maybe half the league has a franchise quarterback, a guy that they say that's their franchise guy. Maybe that's an interesting thing. I should look at who has all the total amount of teams that actually have established quarterbacks. It's not a lot. So it's obviously not that simple. And it's obviously you just can't throw a guy in there who's going to change your franchise around. Not without other pieces around the team to help build that and move that in the right direction. It's just not going to happen. So I was trying to get Frankie back on so he can tell everybody when his shows are going to be on. Because I know he's gonna do some content and put that out there. I wanted Frank. Didn't mean to cut him off like that, Frank. I love Frank on here all the time, giving 110%, feeling his passion and his pride. Oh, there he goes. Bucnblake Sports. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, it's Frankie giving a call back.
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah, I wanted you to get out there and tell everybody where they can see your content and all that stuff at in the future when you go out.
Well, I'll be on Bucks Report, so everything's going to be right where they can find your stuff right here on Facebook on Bucks Report. But I kind of wanted to get where I thought the rest of the season was going to be going for the Bucks.
Go ahead, Frank.
And by the time they'll be bringing in the backups and everything, and we may walk away with it in the second half. I don't know, but it's just the theory I have. And then if it comes down to it, he could kill off the Falcons, could kill the Dirty Birds, because I don't like seeing that Dirty Bird any more than anybody else does that likes the red and pewter.
Who wants to see a Dirty Bird? You know what I mean?
I don't want to see Jamal Anderson any more than anyone else does. But I mean, the guy's long gone, but he's the one that started the Dirty Bird, so we can we'll just keep talking about the one-hit wonder running back. Anyway, but I honestly think we can finish 9-7. Now, there's a lot of fans that are like, I don't want to go 9-7 because that kills our chances of having a good draft pick. Maybe so. But if we finish 9-7, that means that our team is ready to go for next year.
Absolutely, you finish the season strong like that, and then have it rolling into the next season. I agree with you. I don't want to tank for draft position. I want to keep rolling.
I don't want to be the Dolphins. I don't want to be the Cleveland Browns. And I definitely don't want to be the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to finish strong so we're ready for next year.
Right.
And like I was telling everybody, I said I'm going to stick with it. Everybody knows who we need to re-sign. If Stu's going to want a fat contract, let him walk out the door. We need to focus on an offensive line, get a veteran in the secondary, and if we can bring in a guy that can match up in the defensive line, awesome. Otherwise, we're bringing a rookie in the draft. And we focus on the offensive line and the defensive line to replace Stu. That's all we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the core group is there. I think Scotty Miller is going to be our number 3. He's arguably the fastest guy in the division in that division. He's faster than Michael Thomas. He's faster than Mike Evans. So I don't know why anyone's saying Scotty Miller is not a number 3. The guy's a rookie. He's been banged up. Like everybody knows, Bruce Arians' playbook is very, very complex. I've argued this till I'm blue in the face. Every quarterback that has been in this system has had a rough first year with his system. And look at Jameis Winston. Every quarterback that he has done with the first year in his system, his interceptions outweighed the touchdowns. Jameis Winston has almost, he's got 33 touchdowns, or is it 30 touchdowns?
So that's somewhere in that ballpark
And,
with 20 interceptions.
and 20 interceptions. Everybody else has had more interceptions than touchdowns.
Correct.
More interceptions than touchdowns. And look at what Winston's doing. And we have the best wide receiving duo in football. I don't care. I'll go to bat with anybody and say that one.
And that's with him at
that's
with him at the helm.
And I was talking with a Saints fan yesterday. He said, "Dude, you guys have the youngest football team and probably the best young football. I'm scared of you guys in the next few years." Literally, a Saints fan said, "I am scared of you guys next year. Because you guys are starting to gel. I am scared to play you guys next year." A Saints fan said that.
Well, I hope the actual Saints say that as well. But I'll take that if a Saints fan is saying he's afraid of us, and they're predicted to win the Super Bowl this year. So I'll take that.
You know, I'm just saying, and I hope that you guys tune in for my show. I don't have a name yet, so sue me.
It's all right.
But,
you have time. Take your time. Just make it catered to you.
All the good names that I can think of, I'm sitting there Google searching it, and dang, someone's got that name. So, but one of the good things that I'm going to be doing, because there's a podcast I already have out there, you can look it up on YouTube because everything's on YouTube. It's the Unsigned and Unhinged Meltdown, and I support the local music scene across the country. And what I'm going to be doing is also kind of plugging myself and the local music scene in my area. Is I'm going to be having a few different bands actually write an intro music for my podcast. I'm going to be doing for Bucks Report. We're going to be doing Buccaneers theme song for the podcast that I'm going to be doing for Bucks Report.
Awesome.
And it's going to be like 4 different bands that are going to be writing different theme songs for me. It's going to be same lyrics, just different takes on it for almost everything. So, and that's my way of plugging the local music scene as well as doing Bucks Report, because those are the 3 things that I believe is Buccaneers football, the local music scene, and wrestling. And I'm little hint. There's a friend of mine that knows Tino Sabatelli. And anybody that knows wrestling, Tino Sabatelli used to play strong safety for the Buccaneers.
I know who Sabatelli is.
And a buddy of mine is friends with Sabatelli, and if I play my cards right, I might actually be able to get an interview with Sabatelli for later on for Bucks Report for myself on my little show. So, hey, if I can pull that off. You know what I'm saying? There's little things that I'm working left and right, trying to get ready to try and get at least 4 or 5 months worth of shows ready so I'm not like grabbing onto stuff before I start, you know, and just going, what am I going to do this week?
Right.
You know, I want to have a plan. I'm a planner. So that's why I'm not going to start until after the Super Bowl. I want to have things planned out. And my buddy who has a comedy show is going to be my co-host. He's a Jets fan. We're not going to hold it against him. But he's a football enthusiast. And he's coming on hosting with me as he's coming on saying, dude, I have the same history as the Buccaneers, but I want you to prove to me why I should leave being a Jets fan to be a Buccaneers fan, because I'm getting sick and tired of being a Jets fan.
Oh, Lord.
And that's his mentality coming in as being my co-host, because we have similar backgrounds. The Buccaneers have a losing history, and the Jets have a losing history. Same ownership, same GTM type history, quarterback history, yeah. Only 1 Super Bowl ring. Why should I be a Jets fan when I could be a Buccaneers fan? Well, I'm going to tell you why. So that's another little thing that we're going to be trying to do. Let's convince one of my best friends that I've known for 15 years why he should not be chanting for Jets and be wearing the red and pewter. I actually did get him to buy a Warren Sapp jersey, though. He did buy a Sapp jersey because he's a big Sapp fan. So
that sounds awesome, Frankie. Well, I'm gonna cut out of here, Frankie. I think I've gone on for an hour and 25 minutes now. I don't want to bore people too much.
Good talk, man. Good talk.
All right, I'll see you Monday post game to the Colts. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Yep, we will win, guys.
Gotcha. All right, Frank.
All right, man.
There you go, everybody. Frank, as always, here every Monday and Friday. Again, if you're just tuning in, it's coming to the end. It's Bucnblake Sports live on BucksReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony, and this is the Friday edition of, oh, Lord, jersey number. Thanks for calling Bucnblake Sports.
I'm going to cut out of here, Frankie. I think I've gone on
Hello?
for an hour and 25 minutes now. I don't want to bore people. Good talk, man. Good talk. Okay, I'll see you Monday post-game.
I know somebody has their phone on and called, and it's picking up the feed off of the phone call. But I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys Monday for post-game to the Colts. Win this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless, and fire those cannons.